Hello, this is Fred, FR5ED, here with a special beer review. I do say special because it is in a category I've never had before, and it is also special because it was given to me by a friend of mine, co-worker, and just an all-around great guy, Mr. Eric Best, who by the time this video is published will probably be married to his delightful fiancee Dana. So anyway, not only did he give me one bottle of this, he gave me two. One to review and one to enjoy, as he put it. But I plan to enjoy both of them. Anyway, this is, and I'm going to attempt to pronounce this correctly, this is Duchesse de Bourgogne. Duchesse de Bourgogne. And that's what the label looks like. Okay, this is and I'm going to read a little description of it, as well as a bit of history and description of the style. Duchesse de Bourgogne is a Flanders Red style beer. It's produced in Belgium, and I'm going to butcher the name of the brewery here. It's Brewers Verhage in Vic Belgium, or something like that. Anyway, to describe Flanders Red Ale, or Flemish Red, or Belgian Red Ale, all the same different names for the same thing, it is a style of sour ale usually brewed in West Flanders, Belgium. Although sharing a common ancestor with English porters of the 17th century, the Flanders Red Ale has evolved along a different track. The beer is often fermented with organisms other than Saccharomyces cerevisiae. That's the usual, I don't know if it's a phylum, species, whatever, of yeast. But instead of that, it's often lactobacillus, which produces a sour character, which is attributable to lactic acid. Long periods of aging are employed, a year or more, often in oak barrels, to impart a lactic acid character to the beer. Special red malt is used to give the beer its unique color, and often the matured beer is blended with a younger batch before bottling to balance and round the character. Flanders Reds have a strong fruit flavor similar to the Aroma, but more intense. Plum, prune, raisin, and raspberry are the most common flavors, followed by orange and some spiciness. All Flanders Red Ales have an obvious sour or acidic taste, but this characteristic can range from moderate to strong. There is no hop bitterness, but tannins are common. Consequently, Flanders Red Ales are often described as the most wine-like of all beers. Notable examples include Duchesse de Bourgogne and Rodenbach. Now back to this specific beer. After a primary and secondary fermentation, this ale is matured in oak barrels for 18 months. The final product is a blend of a younger 8-month-old beer with an 18-month-old beer. The name of the beer is meant to honor the Duchess Mary of Burgundy, the only daughter of Charles the Bold, born in Brussels in 1457, who died in a horse-riding accident, which I'm sure everybody wanted to know about. Like all Flemish red ales, Duchesse de Bourgogne has a characteristically sour, fruity flavor similar to that of lambic beers. Specific also to this beer are the ratings, and on Rate Beer, out of 2,267 ratings, overall a 98, in style an 83. And then on Beer Advocate, out of 2,756 ratings, scored a 93. The brothers gave it a 94, which is outstanding. Just the brief commercial description is going to be a bit redundant. It says, Duchesse de Bourgogne is the traditional top-fermented reddish-brown ale from the West Flanders region of Belgium. This refined ale, also known as the Burgundies of Belgium, is a blend of 8 and 18-month-old ales, following careful maturation in oak casks. 100% natural and unpasteurized. So, that is enough reading and talk. A little less talk and a little more action. Let's get this open and let's give it our assessment. All right. Using a snifter, which is one of the 2 or 3 glass types recommended. And let's go ahead and get this going. It's not pasteurized and it's natural, so I suspect I mean unfiltered, but it's looking pretty clear coming out of the bottle. Don't see any sediment trailing off at the very end either. Okay, let's see if we can unfrost the glass a little bit. Okay, it's kind of a medium reddish brown. It does almost have a burgundy color when you look, at the light coming down through the, the bottom part of the glass where the stem is. You can't see it on the screen. Maybe we can't quite get that. But anyway, it is kind of a medium brown with a very definite red hue to it. The head, let's take a look here up close. Didn't get much of a head. I was a little bit timid in the pour, we could say. So it's not a dense head at all. Those are pretty much consistently medium-sized bubbles. Already got some lacing going on. I don't think I mentioned, but it is only 6%. The Beer Advocate and Rate Beer were talking about it being 6.2%, but this particular batch, it says in the bottle 6% ABV. Let's give it a smell. Wow, that is very different. I am getting an acidic, vinegary, acetic acid type smell, which sounds like it's gone bad, but no, that's to be expected. And with that, you're definitely getting some plum and raisin and maybe some raspberry. And the only reason I'm having to think about it, am I smelling raspberries? So I wouldn't have picked that up on my own, but I definitely get the plum, the prune, plum, raisin aroma. And it's almost you know how when you smell vinegar, how it'll kind of sting or tickle your nose? Almost a little bit of that. So this will be interesting. I have had 2 or 3 sour beers before, and I did like them. I just haven't pursued them, so I'm really looking forward to this this opportunity here. So let's give it a taste. So, first of all, so different. I don't think it could get any more different from what I'm used to drinking. This, number one, there is no bitterness whatsoever. Number two, it's pretty sweet. It's I don't want to say it's cloying. It's not like syrupy sweet, but it is definitely not dry. There's a purposeful sweetness to it. Okay, let me give it another taste. It's very carbonated, like a champagne. There's even though the bubbles in the head were kind of medium, I'm getting that real microfine tickle all over the back of my throat and the upper palate, as if from champagne bubbles. All over my tongue, just like that coating of tickling tiny bubbles from champagne. The fruit flavors, plum, a little more berry than in the aroma. Whether that's raspberry or... I'm not that good at picking out which berries, but that is good. And then there's the sour element. Definitely, and it's making my mouth water. You know how biting into a sour pickle or getting some balsamic vinegar. Speaking of balsamic vinegar, that I'm getting a little element of that in the aroma. How about that? Just thought of that. You know how biting into a pickle, I'm salivating, or you know, getting some vinegar in a salad dressing or whatever makes you salivate. I'm getting that. If this didn't have that, you know, notable sweet side to it, the sour would be, you know, pretty daunting. But it's very balanced. You've got that nice fruity sweet side, and balancing it out is that puckery sour. So it's I like it. I definitely, what a great great change from what I usually have. And I also will mention, it is not inexpensive. I don't think I'm going to mention what Eric paid for these, because it could vary from location to location. And he special ordered it from a you know, Central Florida supplier here, and he ordered a case. And I will mention it was triple digits. Maybe that's a little, shouldn't mention that, but anyway, it is definitely something to sit back and sip on. You know, it's not high ABV, so I'm not saying you'd be tempted to knock down too many of these. First of all, because of the cost, but almost wish it were, you know, like in the 10 or 11% range, because it's such a full-bodied, full-flavored, and very sensatory tactile, experience. I just can't imagine, knocking one or two of these back in an hour. This is something I'm going to sip on over an hour probably. It's just that enjoyable. So anyway, highly recommend it, especially if you have not ventured into the realm of sour beers, lambics, this whole category of the Flemish Reds or the Flanders Reds. This particular one, very highly rated, and I definitely recommend you try this, is the Duchesse de Bourgogne from Belgium, and that's the beer, and this is Fred, FR5ED, over and out.